On a cold autumn morning in Mississippi, a little girl stood outside a courtroom holding a paper that carried her father's name. But not his love. Inside, a man who once carried her on his shoulders now sat quietly like a stranger. Nobody knew how they got there or why the man who sacrificed everything had become the forgotten father. In the small river town of Greenville, Mississippi, where the streets smelled of rain and old memories, lived a man named Marcus Hill. Marcus wasn't rich, famous, or powerful. He worked long shifts at a grain warehouse near the Mississippi River, loading heavy sacks under the hot southern sun. His hands were rough, his back always aching, but his heart belonged completely to one person, his daughter, Lila. Marcus raised Lila alone after her mother left when she was only 2 years old. People in town used to whisper about him, a man raising a little girl alone? That won't last. But Marcus never listened. Every morning before sunrise, he braided Lila's hair with clumsy fingers while she giggled in front of the mirror. He burned pancakes more times than he could count. He walked her to school even when he was late for work. At night, after exhausting shifts, he still read her stories until she fell asleep holding his arm. To Marcus, those small moments were everything. When Lila turned 12, everything slowly began to change. Marcus injured his back at work while lifting a crate. The company replaced him within weeks. Without steady income, bills piled up. The lights were shut off once. Then twice. Lila began noticing things she never used to see: the empty fridge, the overdue notices, her father quietly skipping meals. That same year, her mother Vanessa returned. Vanessa arrived wearing confidence and perfume that filled the tiny house. She spoke softly to Lila about better opportunities and a better life. She lived in Jackson now, remarried to a businessman, driving a new car Marcus had only seen in magazines. Slowly, Lila began spending weekends with her mother. At first, Marcus didn't worry. But weekends became weeks. Weeks became months. Phone calls grew shorter. Then fewer. Then stopped completely. One gray November morning, Marcus sat silently in a Mississippi courtroom while Vanessa's lawyer described him as unstable, financially irresponsible, and emotionally distant. Marcus didn't argue. He didn't shout. He only listened, his hands folded tightly together. Across the room, Lila avoided looking at him. When the judge granted Vanessa full custody, Marcus simply nodded, as if he had expected it all along. Outside, he watched as Lila got into her mother's car. She never turned back. That was the day Marcus became the forgotten father. Years of silence, years passed quietly. Marcus found small repair jobs around town. He lived alone in a small apartment above a closed barbershop. On Sundays, he still cooked too much food out of habit. Every year on Lila's birthday, he mailed a card with short messages: "I'm proud of you. I hope you're smiling today. I'll always be here." Most were returned unopened, but he never stopped sending them. 10 years later, on another quiet Mississippi afternoon, someone knocked on Marcus's door. When he opened it, a young woman stood there with tired eyes and trembling hands. "Dad?" She whispered. It was Lila. She had grown into a law student who had recently discovered old letters her father wrote but her mother had hidden.